Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. This is our 17th lecture of classical mechanics. Here we will see the derivation of Euler-Lagrange equation. Uh, the mechanics under the Lagrangian concept uh, entirely uh, takes the new way of thinking in physics. Lagrangian, which is denoted by L, can be expressed as the difference in two types of energy of a system. These types of energies are kinetic energy and potential energy. So collectively, the Lagrangian can be said to be a function of position, velocity, and time. Basically, the Lagrangian formalism arises from the introductory example of geometrical constructs, and we can uh, reformulate the Newton's second law under the Euler-Lagrange equation for any system, and we can see the invariance of Newton's second law under Euler-Lagrange equation using arbitrary coordinate transformation. The arc length f of a cycloid, which is a representation of a function y of x between any two points x1, y1 and x2, y2, can be taken as a functional, where functional is said to be a function of function. So, uh, if this S is a functional and it is being represented with the help of an integral with limits x1 to x2, f of y of x, y dash of x, x dx. Then by Euler-Lagrange equation, the function y of x at a stationary point of the functional f obeys this mathematical expression. Means partial f over partial y minus d over dx partial f over partial y dash equals 0, and y dash is derivative of y with respect to x. Using geometry of y of x, here we can see a cycloid which is y of x, and here we can see x-axis, and these are the plotted values of x1, x2 and x3. The difference between x1 x and x2 is delta x, and similarly difference between x2 and x3 is again delta x. Here uh, this blue segment of this cycloid is being perturbed, and this perturbation can be seen in the form of this reddish lines, and can say that for y to be a stationary point of functional s, small perturbation to the function y of s must not alter the value of s. So consider a segment of y of s, this gray segment of function y of s, which is discretized, having discrete values around x2. We will consider perturbing of y of s at x2 by an amount delta y, and due to this perturbation, this blue line has been transformed into this red one. We examine the effects of delta s, which is change in the functional, on this s, which is functional, which can be defined as we see in our previous page, that s is equal to integral f of y of s, y dash of x dx. So this perturbation contributes in delta s, which is change in the functional, in two ways. Uh, this perturbation alters the value of y of x at this point x2, and this also alters the derivative y dash of x around x2. How uh, it contributes by this uh, first step, and how it contributes by this second step, we will see one by one on the next page. The first contribution can be summed up as delta S1 becomes equal to partial f over partial y delta y, and the second contribution becomes in two parts. One is by increasing the derivative on the left and decreasing the derivative on the right. In figure, we can see that while moving from x2 to right, we can say that a tangent to this cycloid will be directed downward, and while moving from this s2 to left side, we see that a tangent to this cycloid will be in inclined mode. So whenever there is a tangent in inclination, then there will be an increase in the derivative on that direction, and vice versa. So here we are saying that derivative on the left hand side is being increased, whereas it is being decreased on the right hand side of x2. So before perturbing the system, we are having y dash of x, x1 equal to delta y1 over delta x, y dash of x at x2 equal to delta y2 over delta x. After perturbation, we will see y dash of x with this sign representing the perturbation. X1 at x1 equal to delta y1 plus delta y over delta x, and y dash of x at x2 equal to delta y2 minus delta y over delta x, and by this and this second expression we can conclude the uh, change in the derivative. Delta y dash of x at x1 will become equal to delta y over delta x. Delta y dash of x at x2 will become equal to minus delta y over delta x. And the total effect contributed by this second uh, assumption, we can say that delta S2 becomes partial f over partial y dash at x1, delta y dash of x at x1 plus partial f over partial y dash at x2, delta y dash of x at x2. This will become equal to minus partial f over partial y dash at x2 minus partial f over partial y dash at x1 delta y over delta x, which will be a common factor. As we can see that in diagram, x1 plus delta x becomes equal to x2. So using this uh, entity, we can have the new shape of the expression as partial f over partial y dash at x2 minus partial f over partial y dash at x1 equal to d over dx partial f over partial y dash at x1 into delta x. And after modification and rearrangement, delta S2 will become equal to minus d over dx partial f over partial y dash at x1 delta y. The net perturbing effect on functional f will become equal to delta s, which will be sum of the variations caused by step 1 and step 2 delta s1 plus delta s2, and this will sum up as partial f over partial y minus d over dx partial f over partial y dash at x1 into delta y. By this expression, if we say that delta s is 0 for any small perturbation, delta y anywhere along the function, which is y of s, the Lagrange equation will become partial f over partial y minus d over dx partial f over partial y dash equal to 0. And this is the standard Euler-Lagrange equation, and this can be said to be representing the equation of motion of any dynamic system. This is uh, also a transformed form of Newton's second law of motion. That's all.